Supply chain disruptions are creating parents' worst nightmare. Will our babies get fed? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Raising a baby is hard at the best of times, as I know from my experience as a teenage dad raising multiple babies in The Sims, which I assume is exactly like real-life baby raising, like never having to change any diapers and watching them grow up in 3 days. Anyway, things are more difficult for parents these days thanks to a nationwide baby formula shortage. Shelves of baby formula are emptying out fast, and it's making parents panic.
This morning, parents desperately searching for the vital food their babies need. With soaring inflation and ongoing supply chain delays, parents across the country are facing a crisis with no end in sight.
In recent days, more than 50% of formula was out of stock in 8 states. Nationwide, the out-of-stock rate is 43%. That's according to Date Assembly, an agency that tracks how much product is on store shelves.
We've never seen numbers like this. Let alone in such a critical category like baby formula.
A baby formula shortage is the worst possible thing to have when you're raising an infant. This is worse than the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. Because unlike toilet paper, there aren't good substitutes for baby formula. You can't feed your baby old newspapers or smooth stones. For infants, not having baby formula could be a matter of life and death. Now, if you're thinking, why not just breastfeed? Well, it's not that simple. Not every mother can produce enough milk, and even if she can, some newborn babies have a hard time getting a hang of breastfeeding. It's also hard for working mothers to get enough breast milk for their babies because pumping it takes time and a clean private space. Otherwise, Monday morning meetings get a lot more awkward. Eyes up here, Dan. In fact, according to the CDC, only around 1 in 4 parents exclusively breastfeed their children up to 6 months. Most parents at least partially depend on baby formula, and as you can expect, parents are pretty desperate to do whatever it takes to get more formula, even if it means driving several hours across states. Yet sometimes they still come up empty-handed. Supplies are so strange that Target, Kroger, Walgreens, and CVS are rationing baby formula. That is, if they're not out of stock. Parents are so desperate to get their hands on baby formula that they're willing to pay crazy prices.
We found many examples of people selling formula online secondhand, priced at double or even more than what they cost at major retailers that are often sold out.
America, land of the free, home of the black market for baby formula. If parents can't afford the price gouging, there are other solutions.
Out of options, some parents now taking drastic measures, diluting the formula they do have. Others are making their own formula at home. YouTube searches for homemade baby formula up 211% last week. Something doctors say can be life-threatening, causing foodborne illness and severe nutritional imbalances.
What kind of severe nutritional imbalances? Well, here's one of the old baby formula recipes that's been making the rounds. It's basically evaporated milk, water, and corn syrup. Gotta get those babies started young on the diabetes. Anyway, the baby formula shortage is no joke, and it's been an ongoing issue for several months now. There were shortages as early as last November, but they got a lot worse in February after baby formula manufacturer Abbott recalled its products and shut down production at a Michigan plant. What happened? Well, more after the break. Welcome back. The U.S. is facing a major baby formula shortage stemming from supply chain issues, and a lot of it is thanks to a single major recall from the baby formula manufacturer Abbott. Now, Abbott doesn't just make baby formula. It's a huge healthcare conglomerate that makes everything from medical devices to generic drugs to COVID tests. But Abbott is one of the big 3 baby formula manufacturers in the U.S. Millions of babies depend on just these manufacturers. So things really go south if just one of them gets even partially shut down. The baby formula recall was a result of concern that Abbott's products were infected by a bacteria called Chronobacher sakazaki.
Recently, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration warned parents not to use 3 recalled powdered infant formulas made at an Abbott plant in Michigan. This comes after 4 infants reportedly were hospitalized after consuming the formula. The powder formulas impacted by the recall include Similac, Alimentum, and Elecare.
2 of the 4 babies who were hospitalized died because of it. In addition to the FDA investigation and recall, this led to Abbott shutting down its entire manufacturing plant in Michigan. So what went wrong? Some point to Abbott's lack of transparency and the FDA's poor performance. Back in October of last year, the FDA was informed by an Abbott whistleblower about health safety concerns regarding Abbott's Michigan plant. The whistleblower outlined allegations of lax cleaning practices, purposely falsified records, and efforts by plant officials to keep FDA from learning about serious issues related to the plant's own system for checking for bacteria in formula, among other things. Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro said last week that the FDA didn't interview the whistleblower until late December last year. The FDA didn't inspect Abbott's Michigan plant until the end of January this year, and the recall wasn't issued until February. Talk about slow for something as important as baby formula. But here's where it gets more complicated. During the January inspection, the FDA found 5 strains of the Kronenbocker bacteria in Abbott's plant, but none of the strains matched the ones that got the babies hospitalized, which is why Abbott says there's no evidence their formula led to infant deaths. They also claim the whistleblower is a disgruntled employee who was fired for violating food safety practices. This doesn't get Abbott completely off the hook, though. The FDA did find sanitation problems during its prior inspections, even before the recall. According to a food poisoning attorney, there were problems that could have led to Kronenbocker or other bacterial contamination. So sanitation at the Abbott, Michigan plant was possibly lax, and the FDA was slow to respond. But even if the FDA had acted sooner, there's no quick solution to the current supply chain crisis. Part of it is thanks to how tightly regulated baby formula is. FDA regulation of formula is so stringent that most of the stuff that comes out of Europe is illegal to buy here due to technicalities, like labeling requirements. So good luck finding alternatives from abroad. And that's despite the fact that many European formulas meet or even exceed American standards. But even if they meet our very specific guidelines, we put a very high trade barrier thanks to high import taxes. This is where the Biden administration comes in. The Biden administration is taking action to address the issue, focusing primarily on the 1.2 million infants enrolled in a government program called the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, known as WIC.
He also announced additional steps to get infant formula onto store shelves as quickly as possible without compromising safety. These steps include cutting red tape to get more infant formula to store shelves quicker by urging states to provide consumers flexibility on the types of formula they can buy with WIC dollars, calling on the FTC and state attorneys general to crack down on any price gouging or unfair market practices related to sales of infant formula, like third-party sellers reselling formula at steep prices, and increasing the supply of formula through increased imports.
So basically, the Biden administration is telling states to be more flexible, getting the federal and state government to crack down on price gouging and increasing imports. But other than increasing imports, there's not a lot the federal government can do. A lot of it is up to the states, which are already doing the things the Biden administration suggested. And when it comes to increasing imports, as of this recording, the FDA hasn't announced how they're going to do that yet. Meanwhile, with shortages sweeping through the states, Abbott says it's taking steps to increase baby formula availability as well. This includes prioritizing production of infant formula products in other facilities and air shipping products from its facility in Ireland on a daily basis. Abbott says it could restart baby formula production in Michigan in 2 weeks, but it needs to get approval from the FDA. Even then, it would take another 6 to 8 weeks to get new products to the shelves. That's a long time to wait. In many ways, baby formula is just a small part of the pandemic-related supply chain issues we've been experiencing lately. So it's easy to overlook until the baby diapers hit the fan. But the shortages wouldn't be such a problem if we didn't rely on just a few corporations for baby formula. I'll explain more after the break. Welcome back. The baby formula shortage is part of a larger supply chain problem. And some say the biggest culprits in this situation are a small group of big baby formula producers. I've heard of big tobacco, big oil, and big pharma, but never big bottle. That's new. Anyway, critics say it's monopolies that are behind the baby formula shortage. Abbott is one of them. It alone accounts for over 40% of our baby formula. And when you add in Mead Johnson and Nestle, that's 98% of the market. That's right, 98% of all baby formula sold in America is made by just 3 companies. To make matters worse, the federal government favors these companies and makes it hard for any newcomer to enter the market. For example, under that Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, WIC, the federal government is actually the largest single buyer of baby formula. WIC buys more than half of all the baby formula on the market, but it does it through the states, and the government requires states to hold auctions to get the lowest price for baby formula. The big baby formula companies offer the lowest prices by giving the state government rebates. So the state gets money back from the company. So what does the company get? In exchange for rebates, a manufacturer is given the exclusive right to provide its product to WIC participants in the state. So the baby formula company gives money back to the state in return for an exclusive contract in the state. In short, it buys a state monopoly. The parents in that state who use WIC are only allowed to buy that company's formula. This makes it almost impossible to have any alternative formulas in stores because almost half of all women in the United States get formula through WIC. And guess who has the most WIC contracts in the U.S.? Abbott. Abbott Nutrition is the sole provider of infant formula for U.S. government aid programs in 34 states and Washington, D.C. So when Abbott slipped up, that was a big problem. And here's the crazy thing. We're not actually running out of baby formula. The FDA said that overall the nation's infant formula manufacturers are making enough to meet demand even without Abbott's main factory online. And the White House echoed these claims. The problem is, even if the overall national production of baby formula is enough to get by, shortages are being heavily concentrated in certain areas, like the areas where Abbott has the WIC contract. That's why critics say it's time to have more options to encourage competition. This is what happens when government programs interfere with the free market. So what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And we could not make this show without support from viewers like you. You can help us for as little as $1 per episode at patreon.com/AmericaUncovered or on our exclusive social media platform, AmericaUncovered.locals.com. The links to both are in the description below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.